Hello and welcome to the next episode of our Let's Look At / Read Through series of the Dungeons & Dragons 3rd Edition Player's Handbook, and let's just jump right into it. We stopped with... Oh, hold on, I can't open it. Stopped with gnomes last time. We're on to half-elves. Humans and elves sometimes wed. The elf attracted to the human's energy and the human on the elf's grace. These marriages end quickly as elves count years because a human life is so brief. But they leave an enduring legacy, half-elven children. The life of a half-elf can be hard. If raised by elves, the half-elf grows with astounding speed, reaching maturity within 2 decades. The half-elf becomes an adult long before she has had time to learn the intricacies of elven art and culture, or even grammar. She leaves behind her childhood friends, becoming physically an adult but culturally still a child by elven standards. Typically, she leaves her elven home, which is no longer familiar, and finds her way among humans. If, on the other hand, she is raised by humans, the half-elf finds herself different from her peers, more aloof, more sensitive, less ambitious, and slower to mature. Some half-elves try to fit in among humans, while others find their identities in their difference. Most find places for themselves in human land, but some feel like outsiders all their lives. Personality. Most half-elves have the curiosity, inventiveness, and ambition of the human parent, along with the refined senses, love of nature, and artistic taste of the elven parent. Physical description. To humans, half-elves look like elves. To elves, they look like humans. Indeed, elves call them half-humans, half-humans. Half-elven height ranges from under 5 feet to almost 6 feet tall, and weight usually ranges from 90 to 180 pounds. Half-elven men are taller and heavier than half-elven women, but the difference is less pronounced than that found among humans. Half-elves are paler, fairer, and smoother skinned than their human parents, but their actual skin tone, hair color, and other details vary just as the human features do. Half-elves' eyes are green, just as those of their elven parents. A half-elf reaches adulthood at age 20 and can live to be over 180 years old. Most half-elves are the children of human-elf pairings. Some, however, are the children of parents who themselves are partly human and partially elven. Some of these second-generation half-elves have human-like eyes, but most still have green eyes. Relations. Half-elves do well among both elves and humans, and they also get along well with dwarves, gnomes, and halflings. They have elven grace without elven aloofness, human energy without human boorishness. They make excellent ambassadors and go-betweens, except between elves and humans, where each side suspects the half-elf of favoring the other. In human lands where elves are distant or not on friendly terms, however, half-elves are viewed with suspicion. What? Yeah. Some half-elves show marked disfavor toward half-orcs. Perhaps the similarities between themselves and half-orcs, both have human lineage, make these half-elves uncomfortable. Alignment. Half-elves share the chaotic bent of their elven heritage, but like humans, they tend toward neither good nor evil. Like elves, they value personal freedom and creative expression, demonstrating no love of leaders nor lust for followers. They chafe at rules, resent others' demands, and sometimes prove unreliable or at least unpredictable. Half-elves have no land of their own, though they are welcome in human cities and elven forests. In large city, half-elves sometimes form small communities of their own. Religion. Half-elves raised among... Hold on, let me move that. Yeah. Half-elves raised among elves follow elven deities, principally Calorian and Letharian, god of the elves. Those raised among humans often follow Ilona, goddess of the woodlands. Languages. Half-elves speak the languages they are born to, Common and Elven. Half-elves are slightly clumsy with the intricate Elven language, though only elves notice, and even so, they do better than non-elves. Names. Half-elves use either human or elven naming conventions. Ironically, half-elves among humans are often given elven names in honor of their heritage, just as half-elves raised among elves are often take human names. Adventurers. Half-elves find themselves drawn to strange careers and unusual company. Taking to the life of an adventurer comes easily to many of them. Like elves, they are driven by wanderlust. Seriously, this binding is pissing me off. Like I have to lean over to see the rest of the word. Half-elven racial traits. Medium size, Base speed of 30 feet, immunity to sleep spells and similar magical effects, low light vision, plus range for a bonus on listen, search, and spot checks. Elven blood for all special abilities and effects. A half-elf is considered an elf. Automatic language is a common elven. Bonus language other than secret languages such as druidic and flavored class. Anyone determining whether multi-class half-elves. Okay, so they can use any class. Interesting. Half-orcs. In the wild frontier, tribes of human and orc barbarians live in uneasy balance, fighting in times of war and trading in times of peace. The half-orcs who are born in the frontier may live with either human or orc parents, but they are nevertheless exposed to both cultures. Some, for whatever reason, leave their homeland and travel to civilized lands, bringing with them tenacity, courage, and combat prowess that they developed in the wilds. Personality. Half-orcs are short-tempered and sullen. They would rather act than ponder and would rather fight than argue. Those who are successful, however, are those who enough self-control to live in a civilized land, not the crazy ones. Half-orcs love simple pleasures such as feasting, drinking, boasting, singing, wrestling, drumming, and wild dancing. Refined enjoyments such as poetry, country dancing, and philosophy are lost on them. At the right sort of party, a half-orc is an asset. At the Duchess's grand ball, he's a liability. Physical description. Half-orcs are as tall as humans and a little heavier thanks to their muscle. A half-orc's grayish pigmentation, sloping forehead, sloping forehead, jutting jaw, prominent teeth, and coarse body hair make his lineage plain for all to see. Orcs like scars. They regard battle scars as tokens of pride and ornamental scars as things of beauty. Any half-orc who has lived among or near orcs has scars, whether they are marks of shame, indicating servitude, indicating servitude and indicating the half-orc's former owner, or marks of pride, recounting conquest and high status. Such a half-orc living among humans either displays or hides his scars, depending on his attitude toward them. Half-orcs mature a little faster than humans and age noticeably faster. Few half-orcs live longer than 75 years. Relations. Because orcs are the sworn enemies of dwarves and elves, half-orcs can have a rough time with members of these races. For that matter, orcs aren't exactly on good terms with humans, halflings, or gnomes either. Each half-orc finds a way to gain acceptance from those who hate or fear his orc cousins. Some are reserved, trying not to draw attention to themselves. Others demonstrate piety and good-heartedness as publicly as they can, whether or not such demonstrations are genuine. Others simply try to be so tough that others have no choice but to accept them. Alignment. Half-orcs inherit a tendency toward chaos from their orc parents. But like their human parents, they favor neither good nor evil. Half-orcs raised among orcs and willing to live out their lives with them, however, are usually the evil ones. Half-orc lands. Half-orcs have no lands of their own. They most often live among orcs of the other They most often live among orcs of the other races. Humans are the most likely to accept half-orcs, and half-orcs are always live. What? It repeats itself. And half-orcs almost always live in human lands when not among other orc tribes. Hold on, I'm going to clean my glasses. Okay, back. Better. Like orcs, many half-orcs worship Grumash, that chief orc god and arch-enemy of Corellon the Larithian, god of elves. While Grumash is evil, half-orc barbarians and fighters may worship him as a war god, even if they are not evil themselves. Worshippers of Grumash who are tired of explaining themselves or who don't want to give humans a reason to distrust them, simply don't make their religion public knowledge. Half-orcs who want to solidify their connection to the human heritage, on the other hand, follow human gods, and they may be outspoken in their shows of piety. Orc, which has no alphabet of its own, uses dwarven script on the rare occasion that someone writes something in Orc. Orc writing turns up most frequently in graffiti. Names. A half-orc typically chooses a name that helps him make the impression that he wants to make. If he wants to fit in among humans, he chooses a human name. If he wants to intimidate others, he chooses his guttural orc name. A half-orc who has been raised entirely by humans has a human-given name, but he may choose another name once he's away from his hometown. Some half-orcs, of course, aren't quite bright enough to choose a name this carefully. Then we've got examples of names, and then adventurers. Half-orcs living among humans are drawn almost invariably toward violent careers in which they can put their strength to good use. Frequently shunned from polite company, half-orcs often find acceptance and friendship among adventurers, many of who are fellow wanderers and outsiders. And then half-orc traits, +2 strength, +2 strength, -2 intelligence, -2 charisma, medium size, base speed of 30, dark vision, orc blood. For all special abilities and effects, a half-orc is considered an orc. Automatic languages and multi-class barbarian class. A favorite class is barbarian, and then a multi-class does not count when determining whether he suffers an XP penalty. Took 10 minutes. Okay. Halflings. Halflings are clever, capable opportunists. Halfling individuals and clans find room for themselves wherever they can. Often they are strangers and wanderers, and others react to them with suspicion or curiosity. Depending on the clan, halflings might be reliable, hardworking, if clannish, citizens, or they might be thieves just waiting for the opportunity to make a big score and disappear in the dead of night. Regardless, halflings are cunning, resourceful survivors. Personality. Halflings prefer trouble to boredom. They are notably curious, relying on their ability to survive or escape danger. They demonstrate a daring that many larger people can't match. Halflings have ample appetites, both for food and for other pleasures. They like well-cooked meals, fine drink, good tobacco, and comfortable clothes. While they can be lured by the promise of wealth, they tend to spend the gold they gain rather than hoarding it. Okay. I dread reading pages on this binding. Halflings are also famous collectors, with more orthodox halflings, while more orthodox halflings may collect teapots, books, or pressed flowers. Some collect such objects as the hides of wild beasts, or even the beasts themselves. Wealthy halflings sometimes commission adventurers to retrieve exotic items to complete their collections. Physical description. Halflings stand about 3 feet tall and usually weigh between 30 and 35 pounds. Their skin is ruddy, their hair black and straight. They have brown or black eyes. Halfling men often have long sideburns, but beards are rare among them, and mustaches almost unseen. They like to wear simple, comfortable clothes and practical clothes, unlike members of most races. They prefer actual comfort to shows of wealth. A halfling would rather wear a comfortable shirt than jewelry. A halfling reaches adulthood in her early 20s and generally lives into the middle of her second century. Halflings try to get along with everyone else. They are adept at fitting into a community of humans, dwarves, elves, or gnomes, and making themselves valuable and welcome. Since human society changes faster than the societies of the longer-lived races, it is human society that most frequently offers halflings opportunities to exploit, and halflings are most often found in or among human lands. Halflings tend to be neutral and practical. While they are comfortable with change, a chaotic trait, they also tend to rely on intangible constants, such as clan ties and personal honor, a lawful trait. Halfling lands. Sorry, I was yawning again. Halflings have no lands of their own. Instead, they live in the lands of other races, where they can benefit from whatever resources these lands have to offer. Halflings often form tight-knit communities in human or dwarven cities. While they work readily with others, they often make friends only among each other. Halflings also settle into secluded places where they set up self-reliant villages. Halfling communities, however, are known to pick up and move en masse to some place that offers a new opportunity, such as where a new mine has opened up to a land where a devastating war has made skilled workers hard to find. If these opportunities are temporary, the community may pick up and move again once the opportunity is gone, or once a better one presents itself. If the opportunity is lasting, the halflings settle and form a new village. Some communities, on the other hand, take to traveling as a way of life, driving wagons or guiding boats from place to place with no permanent home. Religion. The chief halfling deity is Yondala, the Blessed One, protector of the halflings. Yondala promises blessings and protection to those who heed her guidance, defend her clans, and cherish their families. Halflings also recognize countless small gods, which they say rule over individual villages, forests, rivers, lakes, and so on. They pay homage to these deities to ensure safe journeys as they travel from place to place. Halflings speak their own language, which uses the common script. They write very, very little in their own language, so unlike dwarves, elves, and gnomes, they don't have a rich body of written work. The halfling oral tradition, however, is very strong. While the halfling language is secret, halflings are loath to share it with others. Almost all halflings speak common, since they use it to deal with the people in whose lands they are living or through which they are traveling. And the names: male, female, and family. Adventurers. Halflings are often set out on their own to make their way in the world. Halfling adventurers typically looking for a way to use their skills to gain wealth or status. The distinction between a halfling adventurer and a halfling out on their own looking for a big score can get blurry. For a halfling, adventuring is less of a career than an opportunity, while halfling optimism can sometimes look like larceny or fraud to others. Halfling adventurer who learns to trust her fellows is worthy of trust in turn. I think I'll finish this and we'll save classes for next time. Halfling racial bonuses: +2 to dexterity, -2 strength. Considered a small creature. Armor class +1 size bonus. Base speed of 20 feet, like gnomes. Which is weird. I think it's still in 5th edition like that. I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. Okay. Halfling base speed, +2 racial bonus on climb, jump, and move silently checks. +1 bonus on all saving throws. +2 morale bonus on saving throws against fear. They get a lot of bonuses. +1 racial bonus with thrown weapons. +2 racial bonus on listen checks. Automatic language, common and halfling. Bonus languages, dwarven, elvish, gnome, etc. And favorite class is rogue. And then we'll leave this last little blurb, and then we're done. Small characters. Small characters get a +1 size bonus for armor class, a +1 size bonus on attack rolls, and a +4 size bonus on height checks. Small characters get an attack bonus because it's really relative size that matters in determining attack chances. It's no harder for a halfling to hit another halfling than it is for a human to hit another human, but the attacking halfling's attack bonus counteracts the defending halfling's armor class bonus. Likewise, a halfling has an easy time hitting a human, just as a human has an easy time hitting an ogre, and an ogre has an easy time hitting a giant. Small characters lifting and carrying limits are 3/4 of the size of... Small characters lifting and carrying limits are 3/4 of those of medium-sized creatures. Small characters generally move about 2/3 as fast as medium-sized creatures, and small characters must use smaller weapons than medium-sized characters. And that's where we'll end it. And then we'll pick up with equipment classes on Tuesday. So if you enjoyed what you listened to, consider leaving a like and subscribing. And I may not respond to comments, but I do read them all. So thanks for watching.